Hi there, welcome to Let's Talk Tottenham. We've got Man United on Saturday after a win against Burnley. I picked the wrong video to start there with a countdown, not the intro, but then we'll gloss over that. Joined by Eugene and Bob. How you doing, guys?
Yeah, fine here. I was memorizing the video, you know. I'm afraid you have a quiz after that.
Bob didn't do too well because Jonathan Blondell wasn't on.
You know what? That's your challenge. That's your challenge, mate. You need to do a quiz where the answer is always Jonathan Blondell. See if you can do that, Chris. See if you can do that.
I might struggle with that, but both these guys got their own YouTube channels. You know them by now, but we'll go through them anyway. Spurs Eurasian TV. Eugene, are you doing a crazy stream this weekend for the United game?
He's back.
I had Wi-Fi issues for the past 10 days or so I'm very pent up at the moment. Not able to do any streams, right? So let's hopefully I can let it out today on Chris' stream, right? But I won't be doing. No, I'll still be doing the same Sunday stream, right? It'll go on for about 3 hours normal time, right? Because the game is on Saturday, so let's hope that we have a positive 3 hour, kind of a show on Spurs Vision TV. And just to let you guys know, for the people in Asia, daylight saving will be kicking in, right? So 1 p.m. GMT will be 9 p.m. Malaysian time. Yeah. And I'm not sure about the Indian time and the Australian time and the Pacific time. I'm not sure how they adjust that. All I know, my time, we'll start our show at 9 p.m. From now onwards until daylight saving is over. Yeah.
Excellent. And Bob Spur TV, people don't know about that. Where can they find that?
Yeah, Bob Spur TV on YouTube. Currently doing 1, maximum 2 videos per week. I'm doing the Wolves special on a Saturday where we speak about Spurs, but other subjects as well. We've talked about the ESL previously, the World Cup, just recently about the morality of the Newcastle takeover. I will be doing one on the women's football coming up. Not this Saturday. I am absolutely getting wasted with Brian Daigle and friends, so there won't be any video this Saturday. But also do the day after the day before show, which will be on a Sunday or Monday, actually, next week, speaking about the hopefully a very good Man United win against a Man United, for a Man United, about a Man.
So, as usual, the YouTube links and the Twitter handles will be on the description, both for the audio podcast and the live video and the replay video as well. So make sure you go and check those out. For this video, make sure you hit the like, make sure you hit the subscribe. All helps grow the channel. Before we get into United, Eugene, we beat Burnley 1-0 in the Carabao Cup. I mean, do you see a cup run going? It was 1-0 against Burnley, always kind of difficult to break down. There weren't a huge amount of shots there, but they aren't doing that well. But you're kind of known on these things. You kind of do a rallying cry of be positive. So are you positive about a cup run, or is this Spurs and they've ground you down a little bit?
To tell the truth, guys, I saw that whole match, right? Burnley was really, really bad. I think they are somewhere with Newcastle level at the moment, right? And somehow or another, we still couldn't score. But we did take our chances. At least Mora got his headed goal, right? And this headed goal, he didn't have to jump too high for it. It came to him. And he scored, luckily, right? If not, I think we would have gone to penalties. But we were very much the better team, even though we had a hybrid of the first 11 that came out in the first half. And slowly, we more or less put out our first team by pulling out players and putting in our first teamers in. And we got the win, but unless we draw Sunderland unless we call a place with Sunderland, right? Yeah. I don't think we're going to do too well. We're not going to cup run, you know. After the game, I put out a message there, right? We look lost, right? We don't know how to attack anymore, and I don't know whether that's a player problem or that's a coaching problem. But hell, there's a big problem at our club at the moment, right? And that brings me
the playmaker problem.
No, not even to say the lack of the playmaker problem. You know, it's like somehow or another when we get the ball, right, we tend to like to keep the ball with us and not bring it anywhere and keep it there at one spot. You know, and you know your opposition net is on the other side. You know, it's like we don't have direction. You know, the goal is in front of you, not in the center circle and not behind you. That's all. You know, I don't know what they're doing at the moment. I really do not know. No, but like maybe what Tommy says, right? Nuno's tactic is to win 1-0 every game. So I don't know. It looks a bit weird for me, being a Spurs fan all these years. We will go out and smash 3, and then we will get hit back by 3, right? We are so used to that, ding dong, back and forth. But now we just hold the ball. It's just a dong. Dong. Bobby gets what I'm saying, right?
Yeah. Got a comment from Adam, always on the Spurs channels. How you doing, Adam? Cheers for the support. 4-0 Tottenham. Adam, you're setting yourself up for a real big fall there. If you think there's any possible truth to that, I'm hoping the emojis prove that that's you just joking. But we'll get on to United in a bit, Bob. Burnley, there was a mix of first-team players and I guess backup players. So I think it's safe to say now that the gambles Nuno has made in the Conference League with playing all of the backups is over. You can't trust them anymore. Do you see a cup run going? How did you see the Burnley game going? And we'll get on to Kane a little bit later. I saw his one of his shots, which went miles wide, left foot. It's a constant discussion about Kane on these streams, not just this one, but all Spurs streams. Something's not right there. But in terms of what Eugene says there, the attacking, West Ham, easy for West Ham. Certainly that second half, it was like a football team. All they have to do is move from side to side because that's all we do. But what do you think of the Burnley game? Do you think there's a cup run coming? Or do you think it's just scrape to win?
Like Eugene said, it's draw dependent as well. See who we play because there are dangerous teams out there. But I'll be honest with you, I fell asleep. 30 odd minutes in, I fell asleep, and I can't remember the last time I fell asleep during a Spurs game. Maybe because it was a cup game, maybe it was Burnley. They had their tactics. They were there for the taking. But like again, what Eugene says, there's no oomph about our football. I don't know how else to explain. There's no oomph. There's no go. Let's go for it. Kind of a feeling about how we play at the moment. They were there for the taking, and again, it had to take a couple of big substitutions to come on to be made for us to go up that extra gear, which shouldn't be the case. I mean, it's evident. It's clear now that our second stream, our B team, our backup team, are shit. It's a case. It's a case now. Do we go for the jugular in the Carabao, where there's 3 games away from winning it, or do we go full throttle for the Conference League? Because we can't do both. Unfortunately, if we're gonna win either cup, we're gonna have to play our full strength team or something that looks like a full strength team. And our depth isn't there. So do we go for the jugular in the Carabao? I suppose the only silver lining is the fact there is only 3 games, so it shouldn't take that much.
And one of the big hitters that the team who it might as well be named after are out. And like you say, only 3 games left, which obviously is a lot easier to win than the Conference League. But like you both said, if we end up drawing Chelsea in the next, or Liverpool.
We're going to draw Arsenal. We're going to draw Arsenal.
West Ham or something. But guys, do you know what scared me the most? Burnley made Davis look good. I was shocked, and I was going, okay, Davis is doing well today. I was going, what the hell's going on here? That's not right. So I mean, if Burnley can make Davis look good, right? So I don't think they are anywhere. I mean, at our standard, right? And like what Bob says, we had no oomph. We should actually smack them. And the first chance that we had, you remember, who put Kane through? Was it
Lo Celso, I think.
Lo Celso put Kane through, right? And what did Kane do? I don't know what he was doing. He just he wasn't even on target. Come on.
He always hits the target. He always hits the target, doesn't he?
What do you think is wrong with him, Eugene? He looks to be snatching at chances. Do you think it's what happened in the summer and the reaction of fans after the refusal to train has affected him? Do you think it's a lack of attacking, like you said? I mean, Adam has said you summed up perfectly. That's the lack of attacking. Unfortunately, he was joking. He doesn't see how we can win the game. And Dara, how you doing, Dara? Thinks it's going to be 2-1 United. That's not the scoreline. That's a shots on target. Possibly. Yeah. Eugene, what do you think's wrong with Kane? Do you think it's a combination of all these things? Or do you think one thing is standing out as that's the issue?
I think Kane is burnt out mentally, physically. He needs to go and see a psychiatrist. There's something up here that's not clicking in at the moment. I think losing the European Cup final, I think that was a very hard hit on him, right? So, and being tired, and come on, we don't have a backup striker. He's been played like 3,000 games in the past 2 years, right? So what do you expect from him, right? And the way Nuno is playing his game now, it's not much better than what Jose did last time, okay? And to tell the truth, I think it's either he's lost or Nuno is lost. Nuno is not playing to his strengths, right? But plus all the mental issues I think that he's going through, the Man City issue, the losing of the European Cup final, right? Being overplayed, not getting what he wants, the fans jumping on his back when he didn't turn up for training. It does. I mean, come on, guys. He's still a human being, right? That's one thing I have to say. Being a human being, if we put too much pressure on him, he will have a crack or two. So I guess that's what it's showing now. Right? And I guess the desire, the most important thing is the desire. It's not more there. I think last time maybe if the desire is stronger, you can overcome that mental problem, right, and perform. But I think the desire is gone down. So the mental part has overtaken the desire. So go and see a psychiatrist, Kane, please. Right.
You made a good point there. I don't think Nuno helps because we were obviously defensive, Bob, under Jose, but Jose was defensive with a view of getting the best out of Kane and Son. Obviously not in the traditional sense because Kane dropped deep and then Son became the striker. Whereas now we're defensive and Kane seems to have been told stay up top, but without a playmaker or anyone to pass. I mean, essentially last year Kane was the playmaker, and we're defensive and not getting the best out of who are our best two players by quite some distance. So I think with the whole training thing, I think he made an error in judgment there, thinking that, fans hate Levy more than anything. So I can do what I want, go against Levy, they'll back me. But then he's forgotten about the fact that the badge on the shirt is more important than Levy, Kane or anybody. But then the fact that he got clapped against Wolves when he came on, I think that probably shows him that, okay, they'll forgive me if I score goals. But I mean, he's snatching at chances. And I think it's a confidence thing, whether that comes from it's in his head and mental stuff like Eugene talks about, or whether it's just because he's not getting the chances and chances are really few and far between. But what do you see as the issue with Kane there?
I think, and I've gone on record to say this a few times, what he did at the beginning of the season, I thought was out of order. I thought it was petulant. I thought it was childish. Totally disagree, but I could understand why he didn't want to be at the club anymore. I understood that, but I thought the way against it. What he did do, though, is give every single Spurs fan a chance to point their finger at his professionalism and his dedication to Spurs. He's been through droughts before and he's been off form before, but no Spurs fan could ever point the finger at Harry Kane and says, your heart's not in it. Whereas by what he did early on the season, it's allowed every Spurs fan to build their narrative. For me, again, I've said this, he's our best player. He's one of the best strikers in the world. We should be building a team around him. Now, as for Nuno, if he could play up front on his own, he could play that number 9, and he's great at bringing players into play. But only if he's got players running either side or a Pete Dele Alli running behind him, because we all know what he can do if he does come deep. But the unfortunate thing is, because we're so defensive and because the likes of Sonny and Lucas are so dedicated and want to help out the other way, is left stranded up front. We don't have those runners anymore because they're too busy doing the defensive work for Spurs. So, and by the time later on in the game, like Sonny and Lucas, Bergwijn, are absolutely shattered because they're doing the work that way, where it should be a case of, right, can you stay up front because you have got the likes of Lucas and Sonny going either way. We don't have that anymore. The most iconic goal for me personally from last season, Jose's era, was the goal against Arsenal, where it went Lo Celso to Kane to Sonny, and he had Lucas running the other way, Sonny running through and scoring that screamer. It was from one end to the other in 3 passes. We don't see that. We're defensive, all very well, but we don't have that counter attack in us anymore as well. And that is where Harry Kane's struggling at the moment. He's not getting the service, and when he does get the ball, it's very rarely he's got players running behind him, it's making him look shit. It's making the team look shit. But again, I go back to what else do we expect from a mediocre manager who's come from a mid-table team?
Yeah, I think being defensive is absolutely fine. You have to have an attacking threat going forward. Yeah. If you're just sitting back, it's terrible. But Craig Bowler's got in touch. Hi, Craig.
Big
Good point by Eugene. His confidence does seem low. It was another final that he could not make an impact in. He was in Cellini's pocket the whole game.
Great point.
He was disappointed by that.
Yeah, great point. Great.
Yeah. And Adam says our attack is too sloppy as well. They look like they're making it up as they go along. I mean, that kind of goes to both of your thoughts on, does Nuno have a bit of a clue? But I think against West Ham, it was always going to be difficult. Newcastle, the amount of room that people like Ndombele had to turn, he could have, I've said this before, he could have got the ball, gone to the cinema, come back after 2 hours, and then got back on the ball, and he'd have had more room than he had in the first place. West Ham was never, ever going to be like that, and the lack of a playmaker is killing us. But that brings us to United. The last 4 games, they've been conceding goals all over the place. Gary Neville showed a clip on Monday Night Football, or one of his punditry things, where they were essentially playing with 5 forwards in the line, no midfield, and 5 defenders in a line. And you can have the 5 best defenders in the world, but if you've got no midfield supporting them and helping them, they're going to get exposed. I cannot believe that Solskjaer is going to play that way again. You saw what happened with Villa and Newcastle when we had space. Son and Kane, certainly against Villa, Son tore them apart, and Kane against Newcastle is his best performance by quite some margin. And my big worry about this, Eugene, is that we've been here before, haven't we? You know, Arsenal, terrible. Keep Arteta in charge. We'll beat them when they come to us, and then we don't show up. We don't show the correct attitude. They go and beat us. And I can't believe. My big worry is that we'll think, United will still play with that. There'll be so much space in that midfield. We'll be able to run riot over them, and then they won't take them seriously enough. Man United will change their approach. Solskjaer will change his approach, and then we won't have any answers. How do you think United will change their way of playing? For me, they have to. I think the Liverpool result is a straw that broke the camel's back. You can carry on playing like that and conceding goals like against Atalanta and having Ronaldo score for you and win the game. But 5-0 against your big rivals at home, I think that's a kind of wake-up call. Okay, we can't carry on like this. But how do you think United will approach the game tactically, Eugene?
I think this Saturday's game, right, it will come down to one thing again, the desire, right? Our boys are home with the home fans on their back, right? If they do well, show some desire that they want to win, or, at least show something, okay? Then maybe the home fans will back our boys, right? But like I said, every match that we go into, I always give positive energy to Nuno and the team. But for the past few games I've been watching, it's very difficult to go there, but I'll still try to go there, right? But when it comes to United, I think Ole will have to change, right? His tactics and his formations and all that. But when they lost Varane, I think they've somehow or another Ole has lost his defense. Okay, relying on Ronaldo and Bruno to score the goals, but if you can't defend, right? Don't forget, guys. In the last 2 games in the Premier League, they've actually conceded 9. 4 against Leicester away, right? 5 at home against Liverpool. And to tell the truth, if we face Liverpool, right, I'm dreading that too, if we don't wake up soon. Okay. But not to say anything else, based on individual talents, I think we are quite even on that score, right? Not to say that we are writing off Ronaldo, but there's been rumors going around that actually Ronaldo is the one keeping Ole in his job now, right? He's come out to say that, we still trust Ole, but there has been some dissent in the back room. I think maybe Pogba is not happy, but, clash of egos are coming in again. And let's hope it continues with them until this Saturday. So we at least can take advantage of it, right? And at least win by 1 goal, right? I think if we win, we'll win 1-0 again. That's how I see it. Going back to, Tommy says that, that's how Nuno sets up his team, right? Just to get that 1 goal, right? But against United, if you do that and you give space and chances to Ronaldo, Cavani, Pogba to do their thing. Sorry, Pogba won't be playing because he got his red card, right? Yeah. So let's see how it goes. Confidence and the mental side of it. I think United will be being pumped up because after the 5-0 loss to Liverpool, Ole will have to pump them up, right? And for us, we are back from a win at Burnley, right? Guys, don't forget, United had a week to prepare for this. We still had to play Burnley, right? Let's see who will be fitter at the end of the. I mean, it might come down to the last 80 minutes, and we're still 0-0, and let's see who wants it more, right? That's how I see it. But for all you know, we could go out, Kane could score a hat-trick, and we'll all love him again. That's all.
What do you think of the game, Bob? Like Eugene says, United have had a week to think about it, so that can either go two ways, can't it? They've had a week for 5-0 loss to fester, destroy their confidence even more, or a week to go, right, this is the worst it can get. It can only get higher, and we've got to really rally round. But I think on the proviso that we play the same team that started against Newcastle, if United play like they did against Liverpool, they'll probably score against us, but then Ndombele is going to get space. Kane's going to be able to drop deep to get space because that's where it'll be, and Son will be making the runs and possibly have a field day. So it could be absolutely anything, and I'd back us to win that. If he sorts that midfield out and gives the support to the defence, they've still got that attacking threat. I mean, any team with a Ronaldo in it has an attacking threat, regardless of how they're playing. But then they'll be slightly difficult to break down, and as we saw against West Ham, side to side, hardly any passes forward. But how do you see it going? Firstly, what do you think Ole will do in terms of his tactics and his team selection? And B, what do you think how that will affect Tottenham?
Well, they've not been able to sort out their midfield all season, have they? And Gary Neville, think of what you want, but he's right. He called it, didn't he? He goes, look, it's all great getting these points on the board, but when we come up against the Leicesters and the Liverpools, that's where I worry. That's where he worried that they're going to get found out, and they have. Now, if I'm making the argument or the opinion that why are we expecting more from Nuno, why should Man United expect more from Ole? What has he got in his CV to state that he is the man who can get more and a better formation and a better playing identity from United? You put any manager in charge of those front three, a Ronaldo, a Cavani, a Greenwood, a Rashford, a Bruno. There's not much of a team talk you have to really do there, apart from go out and do your shit. So it just shows that he probably hasn't had to. It's the team behind them that are really struggling now. They probably play a McFred in midfield. Will Matic come in to give that extra experience? I know there's been a lot of talk about allegedly within the Man United squad asking Solskjaer why he's not playing Matic, whereas there is quality there and certainly that experience there. I don't know, mate. With regards to Ole, I don't see what he's finished second in a season where the big teams were poor. He did a lot of paper over a lot of cracks. What is he going to do tomorrow? Yeah, tomorrow evening.
Yeah.
It's I don't know if he's got it in him to make those clever substitutions and make that game-changing team selection or formation that's gonna pull him through. I expect Spurs win.
Do you think the players are still playing for him? I mean, it's obviously a bad loss against Liverpool, but there were no one tracking back really. Ronaldo's not going to track back, but Fernandes was pretty much standing there. Goals go in, it's arms in the air rather than kind of come on, let's sort this out. Do you think they're playing for him, and that's why they've got? Do you think they're not playing for him, and that's why they've got so many gaps and just look completely disjointed, or do you think it's a complete tactical issue?
Yeah, I think the word is that they love him as a person, they respect him as a legend of the club, but they've lost all confidence in him as a manager. That's what we're hearing from the Man United camp, and you can understand that. When you've got, although he wasn't successful, but when you hearing tactical and team talks from the likes of a Jose or a Van Gaal, to now someone who, with all due respect, has been in charge of Cardiff and Mulder. You're not going to get the same team talk, and that's what I say about Nuno as well. When you got players hearing tactical analysis from the likes of a Poch and a Jose, to then hear it from a Nuno, you're not going to get the same effect. You're not going to get, and they all human beings. You're not going to have that level of respect for. And it's not fault of the individual. They are human. You're not going to listen to a Poch and a Jose the same way you're going to listen to a Nuno, unfortunately.
Yeah. But the sad part is, right, Bobby, right? Sometimes I feel like, why are the players playing for the manager, right? They should be playing for the club, playing for the fans, right?
When they get so much money, then because they get so much money, they don't need to play for themselves.
To tell the truth, the manager should be just put aside. Right, the manager should be something to for them to rely on tactics, advice, how to do the things that they need to do, right? And when you play the ball, the game called football, you should be playing for the club, for the fans, right, and not the manager himself, right? But nowadays, I think a lot of players don't see that anymore. Yeah, they're just playing for the check that comes into the transfer that goes into the bank account, right? So that's why, I don't know. The new generation of players, right, mixing with the old one. Those who are willing to put in the effort have actually lost the faith of putting in the effort, because you say, even I'm being paid the highest, I put in 120%, right? But the rest of them are just giving 30. What am I going to do? Exactly. I can't do anything, right? I'm not, it's no more like the olden days when Pele says, just give me the ball and I'll score the goal. I don't need the rest of you guys. You guys can just stand around and watch, right? It doesn't happen anymore like that, right? Maybe we need a player like that, all right, just to take the ball and run and go where the goal direction is instead of going backwards.
Well, that's Son, isn't it? But he doesn't get the ball. But in terms of Man United selection, Craig here has said, Pogba not available, probably help Ollie. Can't overthink things with this player selection, try and fit everyone in, which will come to Ronaldo a little bit later. Tanganga should be playing against Ronaldo. I think he could keep him quiet. And if you remember from when Jose first took over, the first thing he did with Tanganga was tell his coach this boy kept Ronaldo quiet, albeit in a friendly. But would you start him, Bob, over Voyle, or in centre, or just start him in the defence and say, right, Ronaldo's your guy, stay with him?
Well, Tanganga got a lot of compliments for his bulge in his shorts against Man City in the first day of the season. Everyone realised it was actually Sterling and Grealish in his pocket. So I think Tanganga, I don't, asking Emerson to be defensive and be a bit more pragmatic and keep an eye on Ronaldo might be a bit too much for him. I'm not seeing enough of him to think he could do that, whereas Tanganga, we've seen it. So I think, but what Ronaldo has, if he doesn't get any joy from one side of the flank, he'll just go to the other. He's world class. Whatever you say for Ronaldo.
But the thing is, I would love Eugene. Ronaldo's going to play through the centre. I would love him playing on the left side, because as we know, Ronaldo does not track back, and as we saw with Aurier last year, particularly against Arsenal with Tierney and I think Odegaard, because Bale wasn't tracking back and helping Aurier, it was always 2-on-1 with Aurier, and no matter how good you are, if you've got that constant pressure every 2 minutes getting 2-on-1 against you, you're going to make mistakes because the concentration levels aren't going to be that high. So if Ronaldo plays on one of the flanks, that's where you go as a Nuno and a Spurs player. You go down on the flanks, and obviously you don't want to lose the ball, and then Ronaldo's completely free. That's where your tactics come in on how you sort things out if you do lose the ball. But in terms of going forward, and that brings me to this, Eugene. If United do play this open game again where they've conceded 9 goals in 2 games, will Nuno sit back, or will he say, right, they're there for the taking? The way you beat this team, if they're open, is you go and attack them because they'll give you space and space and space. But as you've said, Nuno wants to win 1-0. So will Nuno stick with, we're winning 1-0 in this game, or will he see the game and then go, okay, we can adapt? Because I'm not sure he can adapt that well. What do you think?
To me, is that I hope, right, Nuno will go out and attack because we are home. You know what I'm saying? If we are away, then it's a different story. Okay, we're at home. And if he does that, right, I don't think the fans are going to like it. And if the fans start being negative in the stadium, right, I'm afraid it might affect the players, right? And especially now, we do see our players being very, very fragile, right, on the way they do things. We are very, very good against teams that are weak, all right? And somehow or another, we just scrape through most of the time, right? Not going out there and dominate and smack them when they're weak. We should have done that to Newcastle, right? And a very poor Villa, we didn't do that too. And a very poor Burnley that we didn't do yesterday, right? Or 2 days ago on Wednesday, right? But whenever we come up against strong opposition, right, we tend to crumble in the end. That's what my fear is. But at the moment, I don't even know how to judge Manchester United being a strong opposition or a weak opposition. I'm confused here. You get what I'm saying? They have all the talents in the world, right? With Ronaldo, Cavani. They have the talent there, right? But they are not performing. So somehow or another, I think they are more or less in the same boat as us. Both as us, like Bobby says, what do you expect from Ole, right? Cardiff, Mulder, then coming to MU, right? It's not to say that he came from Real Madrid or Barcelona and he hopped on, right? And what do you expect from Nuno, right? Wolves, Valencia, right? And some other few Portuguese teams that I can't even remember. Then he jumps into our team and he's not even the first choice, right? He more or less was the 7 or 8 or 9 or 34 or 352nd choice.
Yeah, 474th, I think you'll see.
Yeah, 474th choice, right? So, like I said, that's why my biggest fear is, right, like what Bobby says, is that do our players respect Nuno enough to do what he wants them to do? That is my biggest fear. And I've been seeing it. I don't think so. And I think even Son is losing it a bit nowadays, right? He's not, when he was, when Son used to play for Jose, it was different. When he get that ball, right, he will do his left foot, right foot over the ball, and then he'll just go straight down the line, carry the ball forward. Now he gets the ball, he stops, he looks. What am I going to do? It's like he's lost again. Yeah. Somehow or another, our players look lost.
Do you think that's something to do with the fact that under Jose, like we said, Kane dropped deep, that was the plan, and he's the one who can find Son with an inch perfect pass, whereas now there's no one to give him that ball. So it brings me to a game when during Eriksen's last year, it was home to Newcastle. We lost 1-0. Joe Linton looking world class because he was playing Tottenham. Eriksen was on the bench, so all we had were players who played in midfield, played side to side, side to side. There were no runners at all because it's almost like, well, it's pointless. They're not going to find me. It's just wasted energy. As soon as Eriksen came on, Son, Kane, and whoever else was playing on the wing started running. The problem was Newcastle was so deep because they had a 1-0 win, 1-0 lead. So I think it's just that. I think the fact that he doesn't know where the ball's going to come from and he's got no confidence that someone's going to be able to find him, what's the point in running? Because it's just wasted energy and then might need that later. Whereas if you get a playmaker in or exactly the same tactics as Jose, Kane, drop deep, you get in the space, he'll start running again, I think. But a couple of comments here. Steve Featley, hope you're well. Hope you come from the last London derby. That was months ago, Stephen. We've moved on from that.
Yeah, get over it, mate. Get over it.
Yeah. I hope you're well, Stephen. Hope you're well.
Yeah, hope he's well, right? Yeah.
Ryan McFarlane, how you doing? Don't think Nuno has it in him to go out and attack United. I'm 50-50 on that. I'm not sure. And Craig, the fans were singing Nuno make a sub against Burnley. It's frustration amongst the fans that Nuno's management will definitely make their voice heard against Man United if we are too negative. And on that point, Bob, it's a cliche, but it's said in pretty much every game. The first goal is huge. If Man United get it, like Craig says there, the fans could turn on Nuno, on the team. If we get it if we get it and we see that Man United are as open as they have been, I can see White Hart Lane or whatever it's called now
White Hart Lane
being hugely loud again, and then getting right behind the team.
But the KFC Stadium.
No, man,
what do you think? What do you think about that, Bob? Do you think the first goal is that important? And do you see the fans turning on Nuno if we get bad thing? Adam said here, like Nuno's allergic to subs.
Yeah. I think we've got to remember, Man United are going to be short of confidence as well. The fact they've not been playing well. I think who was it? One of the players came out and said, "Yeah, it's been coming." That 5-0
Scholes, wasn't it, after Atalanta?
I think it was one of the Man United players actually came out and said he could see it coming. So they are short of confidence. We need to go out all out attacking. We've got creative players in Lo Celso and Dembele, but I will shave my head if we go if we go out all out attacking, because I can't see it. I don't see it in Nuno's.
But that's the way to approach this, though, isn't it? Even if Man United make tactical tweaks, like you say, they're going to be short of confidence. If we go out attacking and have a few shots in the first couple of minutes, open them up a couple of times, it doesn't matter if he's made tactical tweaks and everything like that. It's going to say to them, "Oh my God, here we go again." But like Adam says, I'm not sure. Like Ryan says, I'm not sure that's Nuno's thinking. Yeah, and I'm not sure Nuno is fortune favours the brave, and I'm not sure Nuno shares that. I think Nuno's more of a I can't think of a conservative manager rather than
pragmatic.
Go out and win the game. Go out and win the game.
That's the biggest fear, Chris. If we score first, right, and it's an early goal, right, and we're gonna sit back and let Manchester United attack us. And we've done that so many times while letting teams attack us, while they build their confidence attacking us, right? And they surely score the goal. And sometimes if they score the goal, the equalizer, the second goal is coming. We always see that, right? So if we get the first goal and Nuno goes all out and try to get the second or the third goal or the fourth goal, right? That's what we want to see. But we have not seen that in
our intent. Times. Our intent against Chelsea in that first half was brilliant. Our mindset, our intent was. Yes, we didn't create any chances. We didn't have any one-on-ones. We could have scored a couple if the last pass was great or if the last-ditch tackle didn't come in. But our intent should be like that, regardless if we score or not, on every single home game. The teams aren't coming to Spurs now. For me, it's always be White Hart Lane. They're not coming to White Hart Lane and thinking, shit, we're going to have a really tough start to the game. They're not thinking that anymore. And the fact we were so attacking against Chelsea surprised us, just shows where we are. We shouldn't be surprised. We should be expecting that against every team when we play at home. But the fact we're like, wow, this is unbelievable. This is just so unexpected. Just shows where we are with a mediocre manager and not average players, unfortunately.
That's pretty much you echoed what Ryan says there. Keep going back to what Bob says. Nuno's mediocre, so are the players, barring maybe two. So what do we expect? Sad but true. And then Jay Ashraf, as I said, we will not go out all guns blazing. Nuno's not shown this. Rashford, Greenwood, Ronaldo, etc. will come at us. But all guns blazing, Eugene, is what Levy promised us. We're going back to our roots. We're going back to the Tottenham way. And now we're surprised that we're going to try.
Chris, don't go there, Chris. Levy has promised us a lot of things. Levyland, the museum.
You said tongue in cheek, right? But you were going to say something earlier, and I kind of cut you off. I do apologize.
No, but what I'm saying is, right, my biggest fear is, again, we might be going back to we only can play one half. We perform in the first half and we screw up in the second half, right? Or we screw up in the first half and start performing in the second half, which is already too late, right? No consistency, right? That's the scary part of it. Like what Bobby is saying is that we do need to have that kind of mentality to go in there, to have that, that we have at least that, what called the desire, the intent, right? To go forward, to do something with the ball, right? And what's been seen lately, I've putting Nuno on a 3-strike kind of system. He's already got 2 down, right? So I'm going to see maybe the Manchester United game might be the one gives him his third strike, and that's when I will start to change and start saying that, I think we have to get Nuno out. But it comes down to, again, right, if we get Nuno out, who's going to come in, right? A lot of the social media noise out there saying that they would rather have Mason in, right? At least Mason showed a certain kind of attacking football, that our Spurs DNA that it showed, right? But with Nuno, right, like you were saying, Levy promising us all these things, right? But come on, Levy never keep his promise. So
well, I think the whole managerial thing is I've been saying it since Nuno got the job. He was free, so it cost Levy nothing apart from the wage. He got a 2-year contract. Pochettino, who went after, got an extension for 2 years. So in 2 years' time, Nuno's contract is up. So is Poch's. So basically, Levy gets the manager out, gets the manager in with zero compensation paid. So I still maintain that if Nuno gets fired, it'll be Mason in, because then it's a caretaker manager. There's still no contract there. You can get rid of him for no cost, as and when he wants. But yeah, Craig here said, Dan Kilpatrick wrote an article about El Sacchio and said there's not as much pressure on Nuno because there isn't high expectations for him. He said rebuild will take some time.
I read
Nuno
that.
isn't long term, and I still maintain, until it proves not true in a year and a half now, that Pochettino is back in a year and a half, and the fact that they kept Mbappe. I mean, they can afford to turn down 200 million, but the fact that they decided to turn down 200 million, they've got Messi, Mbappe, Neymar up top, shows they want to win that Champions League now. And then, I still think he's back. But, I mean, Bob, is it time for a Kane performance? And do you think the time has come against the Man United team, who, like we all say, are struggling on confidence? And in terms of attacking, does that come from Nuno, or can the players take it upon themselves to go, this team are here for the taking? You mentioned about Ronaldo. Ronaldo will swap over if the space is over on the other side. But he's obviously the top of the top. He's above Kane in terms of that. So he probably has a bit of a license to do that. But in terms of Kane, is it time for a Kane performance? Does Nuno need to change how we play? Because it stands to reason Mo Salah is the best player in the world on form at the moment. But if Liverpool decided to play defensive football, he's nowhere near. Liverpool play to his strengths. So do you think Kane will put in a performance? Do you think it's time he puts in a performance? And do you think Nuno and the fact how Man United line up and are struggling will allow Kane to put in a performance?
Any other player who's had 9, he missed the first few games, but he's had a run of poor games, would be me personally, and I'm sure there's many other fans, a lot more fans saying, right, he'd be out the team right now. The fact is we don't have any backup. He has to play. Secondly, if there's anyone who's going to turn it round, anyone who can get a hat-trick against Man United, it's going to be Kane. He's our best player. He's our best striker in the world. I mean, you play Kane. In an ideal world, you want to say to him, Kane, go away, a couple of weeks, don't think about football, enjoy your family, and have that extra break that you've already fucking had anyway. But go away for a couple of weeks, don't think about football, come back, and let's go. Then let's have a recharge, and then let's go. Clear your mind. But we can't do that. Who do we play? So. Just going back to what Craig said with regards to what the club supposedly have said. It's a long-term project and it's going to take a lot longer. Again, it's all over the place. It's going to take time. Then if it's going to take time, and if Nuno is the man who's going to take us into a rebuild, why give him a 2-year contract? It's I don't know. I just can't work out what the board, what the club are trying to do. If Nuno is going to be given the full backing, am I comfortable giving a manager who's come from a mid-table team and finished 8th or whatever that much money to help the rebuild Tottenham Hotspur Football Club? I don't know if I would. So it is all cool. Kane needs to play better. Nuno needs to change his tactics. The players need to know that Man United are there for the taking. They are a team who are low in confidence. Dr. Tottenham needs to go on holiday because there's every chance it might come up. But yeah, there's a bigger picture, and but you have to play Kane, man. He is our best player. I still believe that he's better than Sonny. I really do believe that. A fully fit, on form Kane is one of the best strikers in the world, and we're so lucky to have him. I've never changed my. I totally disagree with what he did, but I still stand by the fact that he is, for me, our best player and one of the best players in the world. And he needs, the only way he can start showing it is sorting himself out, Nuno getting the tactics right, and us playing a formation where it helps him. So yeah, Kane needs to show up, but there's a bigger picture of how he gets there, a collective bigger picture.
Yeah. What do you think, Eugene? Do you think it's time for him to show up, and do you think he will show up? I mean, you couldn't on paper have a better game, could you? A team who are conceding out of many goals, regardless of how they line up on Saturday. But yeah, I mean, do you think he'll be looking at this now because he knows he's going to play like Bob says and go, "Oh, I could get my season back on track here."
Chris, I agree completely with what Bob has said, right? But the sad part is, right, we've been waiting for Kane to show up for the past 5 games. That's the sad part, right? I love Kane. He is true and true Tottenham, but whatever has happened to him, like I said, it's just a plain mental problem that he has. Maybe he has a mental block that he's stuck, and I think somehow or another that's affecting Sonny too. Right, I can see it. Their partnership has no more understanding that they used to have last season. But the thing is that this partnership understanding was already waning in the early part of early 2021 January, right before the current season started, when Jose started to not lose faith in the club, because he didn't get any of his January transfers through, right? And when Jose lost it, and after when Jose got sacked, right, I think that what I call partnership broke down. And at the moment now, in the beginning of the season, maybe Sonny was thinking Kane is not going to be here. He's going to leave. And all of a sudden, he's here again. So that has put some kind of damper into Sonny, right? Don't forget, before Kane was playing, who was scoring the goals? Albeit even though 1 goal a game or something like that, right? But Sonny was the one carrying us, and we do see that whenever Sonny is not around, we don't tend to perform as we want to perform, right? And when Kane is not around, we still can do without him. But I really, really want him to turn up. We all do want him to turn up. Deep down inside, we still love him, right? Like what Bobby said, no matter what happened, right? If he starts scoring a hat-trick every 2 or 3 games, all be forgotten, right? The glory will be back for Kane. But the thing is that somehow or another he can't get into that gear now. So I do not know whether it's the manager's issue. His tactics are not there to suit his style of play, right? Which is I'm seeing what Nuno is doing now is trying to suit Kane's style of play. Remember, in the beginning we were playing 4-3-3, 4-3-3. We all were going up and down. Why are we still doing this and we are not getting a result? Kane is coming back too deep, right? And in the Burnley game, I saw that too. Even though we played the 4-2-3-1, Kane somehow doesn't get his service. He runs back deep to try to be the creative part. But when he looks up, there's nobody forward again. You see?
And if you're mentally not there as well, Eugene, if you're mentally not there and you're thinking, oh, whatever. I mean, he needs to get over it. I mean, as simple as it is, he needs to fucking get over it. He's there, and he's there for the long term. But when you're mentally not there and you're disheartened, and then you're playing in a team that isn't playing to your attributes, and they're not attacking like they used to, and they're not making the most of your abilities, then it's just gonna escalate, isn't it? It's just a domino effect of not wanting to be there, having to stay
build
there.
Up,
yeah. So it is a combination of things, and it's going to be hard, but Kane can do it. Kane can do it. We saw glimpses of that Newcastle game that when he's on form, there is no better player. The way he took that ball down when he had Clark right behind him, one way, and winning that foul, that for me said more to me about what Harry Kane's about than him, doing those 60-yard passes and shooting from all angles. That's Kane. That's That's what his game is.
Yeah.
And I keep on saying, man, for me, he's one of the world's best players, not just strikers, but players in the world. We're so lucky to have him at our club, and we need to show him that. They say there's not one player who's bigger than the club, but right now, Kane is bigger than the team. He's one player that won on form in the team, making us successful, making himself successful. He is the best player we've got, and we need to take advantage of. We're so lucky that we've got him, and the board and the club and the manager need to show that. You know, Nuno gets asked about Kane. Oh yeah, he's all right. He's just like any. No, he should be saying we're so lucky we've got him. He's one of the best strikers in the world. We need to feed him more. We need to, big him up. Even Kane, I know he's not relying on praises left, right, and centre because he's a confident player. But it wouldn't go amiss if Nuno did big him up on the odd occasion, even if he's playing shit. Because, like I say, he is bigger than our team right now. He's too good for our team, and we should be taking advantage of the fact that he's still here. Him and Sonny are world class. We're lucky we've got world class players. We just need to show that. We need to show that.
I mean, it goes back to what you said earlier, Bob. Should be building a team around him, not necessarily the whole. Well, in terms of the attacking threat, it needs to be built around Kane and Son. What are they good at? What allows them to be that good? That's what our attacking needs to be, because that gets the best out of him, and it's not the case. But Craig has said it's a cliche, but it's true. Form is temporary, class is permanent. Home 100%. Game against United with a loud crowd behind him could be enough for Kane to come good. 100%. I really hope so. Jay Ashraf, I'd maybe drop Kane to the bench, go back to the formation against City game, then bring Kane on as sub. I mean, we played well in that City game, but I mean, that's never going to happen. He's not going to drop Kane, I don't think, unless there's an injury. And Daryl's made a request pretty much. When is Eileen Drury a special guest? I need some healing. If someone can give me a Twitter handle, I'll ask her if she comes on.
Shall we try that?
Daryl, I'll invite you on.
We'll make that a mission within the Spurs family to get Eileen Drury on one of our channels.
Who's that, Bobby?
Yeah. She was Glenn Hoddle's
she's the faith healer. Yeah,
healer. Glenn Hoddle faith healer.
Oh, yeah. Now I remember. Okay. Yeah.
Love her. That would be interesting. That would be interesting, Chris.
Yeah, well, if someone can give me a Twitter handle, I'll see if I can get her on, and then
we'll get Daryl on as well.
Yeah, absolutely. Daryl seems to need it, so if you can get him on, Daryl, let me know your details, and I'll drop the link over to you. Last questions. These are United questions, really, but it obviously relates to us. Eugene, is Ollie fired if Spurs win, and if Spurs win well? I mean, I was speaking to a couple of United fans on Vitch Sports TV channel, YouTube channel. If you don't watch that and subscribe to that, subscribe to him. They were saying that him and Kieran, they've got a Champions League game after us, and then Man City, and then an international break. So if he was going to be fired, it would be during the international break, because you don't want a new manager coming in and the first game is a derby.
True.
But, I mean, do you think if we win, that's the final nail, and like they were saying yesterday, they'll wait until the international break, but the mind has been made up? Or do you think the mind's been made up already? Or do you think, like last year after we battered them 6-1, it's going to be a kind of coming together moment, and then they go on a bit of a run?
They've already been battered by Liverpool, right? That's already part one. Okay. And if we do batter them and they don't show any kind of heart in playing, because to tell you, if we batter them, right, I think Ole will be in real deep trouble. And he will be getting the axe, I think, after during the international break. At the moment, of course, a lot of MU fans are saying that if we do sack Ole now, who's going to take over? Okay. Who's going to take over the Atalanta game? Right, Nuno, we give him, right. And we'll get Ole, right, Bobby? We'll get Ole. I think
we're going for Bruce.
We're going to. Oh yeah, I forgot about Bruce too.
I mean, if we got Ole, at least we'd attack. We wouldn't have a defense really, but at least we'd attack.
Yeah. But I'm saying, for fans to always be happy to get managers out, it's always the trend. You get what I'm saying? When it happens, everybody will just jump onto the boat and we have to get him out, But somehow or another, like I've been saying, Ronaldo has come out to say that he's got Ollie's back, but I do not know whether it's correct or not. Or maybe Ronaldo is seen as a legend and don't want to, push that button too much.
A sense of loyalty, isn't there?
The sense of loyalty, the camaraderie and all that. But there's a lot of news coming out from the squad that they are not happy with Ole. So, and furthermore, I think Sir Alex has come out to say that he's supporting him, right? So I guess he still has their support. But if they do lose the next 3 matches, I think he'll be gone. Okay. If it starts with us, that will be the first nail, right? Then if they do lose in the European Champions League game, then it'll be a second nail. And I had to tell the truth, deep down inside, I don't see them beating M City anyway, right? So international break is going to be, we'll find out then. But a lot of rumors are going around. Conte is going to come in, right? But if you turn that around to us, Chris, what happens if we lose to MU, lose to Vitesse, right? And then who's the next one we play? Leeds.
Yeah.
Imagine.
We've got a Twitter handle, so if you can come on. That's a good point Eugene makes there, Bob. We talk about Ollie getting fired, but it could be the other way around if we end up getting a bit of a beating here against a team that we should be beating on current form, and then Vitesse, which I'm not sure if that puts us out of the Conference League, but it makes it extremely difficult to then get through. But do you think it's a game of 2 managers here? It's or do you think one's in a better position than the other?
I think a heavy defeat to either manager is beginning of the end, if not the end. If we batter Man United, and I don't know, the scoreline 4-0 keeps on coming back. I don't know why, but 4-0. If to us, I'll never. 41 years, I've never predicted the Spurs loss. Just imagine if they'd come all true. If Ollie loses 4-0 against Spurs, I think he's going to get sacked. You can't lose 4-2 against Leicester.
And then the new manager's first game is the derby.
It might be a temporary till the international break. Give them enough time to get someone in for that international break to come in and do something rather than do loads of few things. But yeah, for me, if Ollie loses heavily, I think a 1-0 defeat, fair enough. But if he loses heavily against Spurs, I think he'll be gone. I think he'll actually go to the board and say, it's too big for me. I love this club too much. Please, can we have a mutual consent. A parting of ways? I just don't think you can't lose 4-2, 5-0, 4-0, 3-0, whatever it is, consecutively and keep your job at Man United. There's a legendary status there, but there is that line. And I think by losing again to Spurs heavily, and everyone knows Spurs haven't been great this season, to then lose heavily against Spurs as well, I just think it makes his position untenable. I'd be surprised if he didn't get the sack afterwards. With regards to Nuno, if we lose heavily at home, again, all the Nuno outers will come out and start shouting again. They seem to have gone away because we won against a very poor Burnley side. With Nuno, he's reflecting exactly what our board are right now. Unambitious, no attacking mindset, no intent, lethargic, no warmth. He's exactly what the board are right now. So unless there's going to be a change up there, there's no point having a change down there. That was no sexual innuendo there. I do mean if there's
no one said anything, Bob. It's obviously a guilty conscience.
We're all perverts. But if there's no change from above, there's no point, absolutely no point of making any change managerial-wise at Spurs, because it doesn't need to change at management level. We all know where the changes, be it mentality-wise or position or personnel-wise, where the changes need to be made at the club. That's a whole new show, whole different show.
Yep, that's a whole different show, Bobby.
Craig seems to think you're channeling Eileen. So, Darryl, if you really need some help, we can't get Eileen on. Bob is your man to help.
That's it, Craig.
Yeah. Last question, Eugene. Obviously, Ronaldo was the big marquee signing that they made. But Carragher went on record on Sky Monday Night Football or whatever it was, saying it's a better signing for the Premier League than Man United. And before he came, they were doing quite well. Pogba was assisting. I think he had 4 in one game, but he was well at the top of the charts in that. Ronaldo then comes in, and they've got all these strikers up top. They were saying to me yesterday on Rich Sports that even Cavani tracks back and closes people down and chases things, where Ronaldo doesn't. So they've gone from a team who are pressing, and as we know, the press only works if every single player does it. If one person stops doing it, the whole chain breaks. And with Ronaldo, Bob mentions it with Kane, but if you've got Ronaldo in your team, really, you have to play him. So do you think it's kind of messed up their rhythm a bit and their team shape? And you mentioned earlier, I think it was, with egos now starting to creep in. Do you think it's been a brilliant signing in terms of like a nostalgia, similar to our Bale one last year? But it's been a complete detriment to the team for United, and that's potentially why they're all over the place and shape is all over the place, and that's why teams are carving them open at the moment. Albeit it's possibly the best player to have ever played the game that they've brought
in. Yeah. To say whether it's a good or bad signing, I really can't judge it at the moment, right? But you have Ronaldo in your team, you have a chance to score, to get the goals. That's one thing, right? Yeah. Don't forget, he did score against Atalanta, they were 2-0 down, and he did bring back the win, right? But when Ronaldo went to MU, I was already saying, I was already in my mind thinking, can Ole handle all the egos there? The egos between Pogba, and Pogba's ego is really big, right? Now you bring Ronaldo in, and Ronaldo's ego is like mega big, right? So will he be able to handle it? And I think now we see that he can't. So for all you know, what Pogba did against Liverpool is that he did Ole a favor by getting the red card, so he won't be in the next 3 games, right? He won't be able to play. So Ole can do something with Ronaldo. We've not actually had to think about Pogba's ego. It could be a positive thing for Ole, but good signing or bad signing, hard to say, because Ronaldo does bring in the goals, but he doesn't follow up with his defensive work, right? So if Ole had a bit of gonads, right? You understand what I'm saying? Most probably, he shouldn't start him. Put him on a bench, make him an impact player, right? Let the first 60 to 70 minutes be the pressing game until the time comes where you're going for the win. Bring on Ronaldo. Maybe he has to change his tactics, right? But like I say, the ego is there. When the ego wants to play, the ego will play. That's all. Because he's bigger than all, based on football-wise. Unless you say Sir Alex is there, then Ronaldo maybe accept Sir Alex's decision, right? But Ole is there. It's coming back to something like our Kane and Nuno scenario. You get what I'm saying? That's all, right? More or less. Good signing, bad signing. End of the season, we'll find out. But I think it does put a bit of a chink in their armor. Put a bit of, it's like come to our saga. Kane leaving, not leaving, leaving, not leaving, leaving, not leaving. And then we thought he's leaving. Nuno thinks he's leaving. Son thinks he's leaving. Half the squad thinks he's leaving. Then he's here. So the plans are all gone. You get what I'm saying? So come back to it again. For me at the moment, it looks like a good signing because he's been putting some goals that actually pulling them through, some getting them some results in the Champions League based on the Champions League, right? But in the Premier League, it's not working out too well for him. That's all.
Yeah. What do you think, Bob? Good or bad signing? And also, it came completely out of the blue. So do you think they actually thought we need Ronaldo, we'll go get him? Or do you think it was, because I think there's a truth to this a little bit, that he was basically brought in to stop City getting him?
Well, that's my question to both of you. And I think there's about 12, 13 people watching. Was Ronaldo bought because they needed him? Or did they buy Ronaldo because they had to? Did they need to, or did they have to? Because I think they didn't need him. I mean, Sancho's become a non-entity now. You know, he was supposed to be the big thing. I wonder how he'd feel. He came in with all the fanfare. They had to wait a year to get him. It's finally come in and there's no mention of him. Suddenly it's all about Ronaldo. And he isn't playing well. And that's going to play on your mind as well. Knowing full well you've got, in my eyes, the best player in the world, better than Messi, playing for Man United. Any other manager would be able to fit in a Ronaldo. Any team in the world should be able to fit in a Ronaldo. It just shows Ollie's capabilities and abilities as a manager. Talk of if Conte was in charge, Ronaldo would be the first person he dropped. I don't think so. I think you look at Ronaldo being the best player in the world and think, you know what? His ability, Conte's ability, would allow him to build a team that would suit Ronaldo. And I'm sorry. Yeah, and I'm sorry if Ollie goes to Ronaldo, say, mate, you know, when this happens, on this instance, you will need to track back and do something. It's a lot different to Conte going to Ronaldo and saying, when that happens, you make sure you're in this position because we need cover. He'll listen to Conte. I guarantee you will listen to Conte. Ollie, coming from Ollie, I don't know if it has the same effect.
The other thing with that is if he doesn't listen to Conte, Conte is not one to go, oh, you're Ronaldo, I can't drop you. It's just get out of my sight. Whereas Ollie, not sure. But Craig's made a good point here, which I didn't think about, the Ronaldo signing. It seemed a bit of appeasing the fans after their protest, you know, the whole ESL and everything else is going on. They're bringing one of our legends.
I think they've done that already, though, didn't they? That with Varane, with the Sancho. I think that the fans would have been appeased with that, with just them two.
But Bobby, the fans would go crazy if Ronaldo went to M-City. Don't forget that part.
Yeah, exactly, mate. Yeah,
that's true. Their fans would go crazy. You know, they would be protesting like crazy. But you know, M-City in the beginning, if they didn't get Harry, right, they were looking for an out striker, and Ronaldo was one of their main target, which is I think what MC did was very smart. Put out that interest there. And MU can't let Ronaldo go to M-City, right? They will have to snatch him up. So when they snatch him up, they tie down funds for MU to go and buy another bigger player. Simple as that. All tactical. It's all tactical. Yeah. That's it. Yeah.
It remains to be seen, like Eugene says, if he benches him, I'm not sure he will. I think it's exactly like Kane. You don't drop Kane, you don't drop Ronaldo. So I hope Ollie plays in exactly the same way as he did against Liverpool. I just can't see it because I can't see how you can lose with that open play to Leicester. Then at Atlanta, they obviously got away with that with Ronaldo's 2 goals. Yeah. And then Liverpool getting absolutely destroyed. I just can't see him doing that again. But like we've said, we have to go out and attack them. Just if for nothing else, just to see what they're made of after their fairly poor losses. But final thoughts, Eugene? Predictions for the game?
0-0, drab draw. Both teams score, right? We can't score. So they'll play the game in the middle of the field running around. Left, right, left, right, left, right. I don't think so that'll happen, especially with the attacking power of MU, right? If we do win, I think we'll scrap it at 1-0, right? If not, it could be ending up a 2-2 draw or something like that. To me, I would love a 1-0 against MU, right? And that will still keep Ole in the wheel. So 1-0 Spurs.
Excellent. Yeah. And Bob, I think a lot of depends on how Man United approach. If they're that open, Son Kane could have an Ndombele could have a field day. If they're not, it's going to be a real tight game and could be like Eugene says, 1 goal in it who decides who wins. But your predictions for the game?
Although I've predicted a Spurs win for 41 years, every single game, I have to say there's no reason for me to change that. 4-0 Spurs. Come on!
Yeah.
There you go. Come on. My Island Jury-esque has worked. See? It's all in there. It's all in there.
If it is 4-0 because you've said it like that, you need to be allowed in the dressing room for every game and do some kind of rousing team talk before. But
that's it. Yeah.
Don't worry, guys. I'm growing back my tash and we'll win.
Well, it's your fault because you had a shave. It's your fault. You.
Oh no! After the West Ham game, I shaved.
Oh,
then
right,
the Burnley
okay.
game we won. So it's the growing part, right? Not the keeping part. Yeah, it's the growing part. Yeah.
That's it.
We've run out of time, unfortunately. We remains to be seen on tomorrow evening, and then when we have the next podcast.
Eugene, we know we're not to ask Chris for a prediction.
No, I can't,
because he's a bit.
It's not just that. It's every time I predict Spurs win, because I'm like you, Bob. I can't predict a Spurs loss. And the other thing is, if I'm right and I haven't been to Ladbrokes, I've lost out on money. I just can't.
Well, do what my cousin did. My cousin's a big Spurs fan, and he always puts a tenner on Spurs to lose.
Yeah, I can't.
Because he goes, look, if we win, I'm happy, and if we lose, I'm quids in. So it's a win-win situation. So he's done that.
But then, in a way, when you lose, you there's a slight bit of happiness. I can't be happy in any way, shape, or form. But yeah, cheers, guys.
He's Indian. We're all tight, mate. So that's right.
Yeah. I don't bet anymore. Quit that long time ago.
Cheers, guys. Thanks so much for coming on. As always, always welcome on. Before you go, if anyone missed it or hasn't seen it in the description, Eugene, Spurs Eurasian TV, your YouTube channel, obviously on YouTube. Where can people find it? And tell us a bit about it.
Spurs Eurasian TV. I'm back, right? Having my Wi-Fi back. This Sunday we'll be doing at least a minimum 3-hour show. Haven't done that. Supposed to have a crazy stream last week, but lost the Wi-Fi. So, but 2 shows a week. The midweek show, Wednesdays, more or less during about 2:30 p.m. GMT. That will now equate to about 9:30 p.m. Malaysian time. The rest of the times you guys figure it out because of daylight saving, right? And of course, now with the show coming up on Sunday, it'll be 1 p.m. GMT. That will be about 9 p.m. Malaysian time and Manila time, where Jamie, my co-host, is. You guys figure out the Eastern time and the Indian time and all that. Hope to see you guys there, and hopefully we'll have a positive show on Sunday. That's the most important thing, right? I don't want to be ranting and screaming and shouting in the no again. That's all.
Just a quick message from Craig. Cheers, Craig, and thanks so much for getting in touch and joining in the comments. Bob Spur TV, if people don't know about that, where can they find it?
Yeah, Bob Spur TV on YouTube. Having a couple of weeks off at the moment. Not doing a Saturday show because I'll be pissed.
There's a party tomorrow.
But rather than do a day after, the day before show on Sunday, I'll probably go on to Eugene's on Sunday to give for a few minutes, for an hour or so, talk about Saturday's game, and probably do my show on the Monday afternoon. But yeah, more importantly, this is the channel that everyone needs to subscribe to. Very underrated. Get Chris's numbers up. Fantastic preview shows, and a regular on our shows as well. So onwards and upwards. Definitely, this is channels to subscribe, and thanks to everyone in the comments as always. Craig's always there with his
Craig's always a big supporter.
Darryl and Faz and Shraf, everyone.
Yeah, Ashraf. Yeah.
Excellent. Cheers, guys, and cheers for everybody who has watched and will watch on the replays. Will listen on the podcast and added comments in. Hit the like, hit the subscribe. You've got the notification bell there as well, which will give you notifications when we're going live. And when you've done that, go to Spurs Eurasian TV, Bob Spur TV. There in the description. Made it easy for you. It's the YouTube link. It's not like go to this Twitter channel and then find the link there. I've given you the link, so there's no excuse there. I'll be back Monday. Hopefully a positive stream. I haven't had too many of them this season. So please let's have one. Let's have a good win. United are there for the taking. United are there for the taking if we approach it professionally. Don't count our chickens and think that we've won already, and then attack a team that are conceding goals. They're there for the taking. So let's just take them and get Kane back on form, Son on form, and get our attacking play back on track. So I'll be back on Monday. Until then, come on, you Spurs.
Leave you out. Leave you out. Leave you out. Leave you out.
Thank you so much for watching, for everybody who participated in the live chat and added comments. Before you go, please make sure you hit that like and subscribe button. Anybody who couldn't watch the live video, you can still catch us on YouTube. Add any comments, suggestions or questions to the comments section on the video. Anybody who's listened to the audio only podcast, thank you so much for listening. Anybody who wants the audio-only podcast, you get this wherever you get your podcast from. Alternatively, if you go to Twitter, @LTalkTottenham, you'll find all the information there. We'll be back soon. We're live Mondays, 8 p.m, Fridays, 12:30 UK time. Until then, come on, you Spurs!